Adam Hughes Putnam was born on July 31, 1974, in Bartow, Florida, the son of Sarah Elizabeth and William Dudley Putnam II. He graduated from Bartow High School, where he was active in both FFA and 4-H, participating in leadership development programs and serving as president of both the State 4-H Council and Florida 4-H Foundation. He was also heavily active in the Florida 4-H Legislature program, where he learned the basics of how government works, which would be invaluable to him in the years ahead. He attended the University of Florida, majoring in the IFAS Food and Resource Economics program, receiving his BS degree in 1995. During his last summer of college, he interned in Washington, resulting in his desire to make a difference through political service. A member of the Florida Blue Key, he was named Outstanding Male Graduate of the Year and was also a member of the Alpha Gamma Rho fraternity, receiving their Grand President Award in 2013. In 2010, he was the E.T. York Distinguished Lecturer at the University of Florida. He is also a Rotary Club Paul Harris Fellow and has received numerous awards, including the 2014 Outstanding 4-H Alumnus Award, an honorary Doctor of Laws degree, and served as a Rodell Fellow at the Aspen Institute. Putnam met his wife Melissa while in college, where they both were active in campus activities. She has been a partner throughout his career, and together they have 4 children, Abby, Libby, Emma, and Hughes Putnam.
Adam was truly gifted as a communicator, and I think he learned early on that he could do that well.
Adam's public service career began with serving in the Florida House of Representatives from 1996 to 2000, where he chaired the Agriculture Committee, followed with his election to the United States House of Representatives for 5 terms, a decade in which his support was crucial to Florida agriculture. Elected in 2000, Putnam was the youngest member of Congress at the time and the youngest ever from Florida.
I think we all know that Adam is charismatic. He is extraordinarily intellectual. And I think we all know that when you're really smart, you can be really funny. And I think that one of the greatest attributes of Adam is his sense of humor and his ability to use that sense of humor to take serious subjects and to put people at ease about it, and for people to have a connection with him that he might not otherwise have.
While in Washington, D.C., he distinguished himself as the leading voice for specialty crop agriculture in the nation's Farm Bill, international trade, and food safety. Putnam served as co-chairman of the Congressional Sportsmen's Caucus, as a member on the Agriculture, Financial Services, and Rules Committees, and as chairman of the Subcommittee of the Government Reform and Oversight. After just 2 terms, he was elected by his peers to be Republican Policy Chairman and as the Republican Conference Chairman in 2006. During his tenure, he assisted and coordinated virtually every political aspect of the Florida citrus industry's needs to preserve and protect the industry. His efforts in maintaining international market access for Florida citrus trade helped keep export markets viable, and his leadership in recovery efforts after the hurricanes in 2004 helped get farmers back on their feet.
He was in Congress when the hurricanes, subsequent canker had started earlier, but canker was an issue, and then of course greening became the big issue. And so he was in the fight for the Florida citrus industry, and I would say that the main thing was he was there for the relief from the hurricanes and also the beginning of the fight and funding for research for HLB or greening.
Following that, he served as the Florida Agriculture Commissioner from 2010 to 2014, where he served in one of 4 statewide elected positions within the government. He led the nation's largest state Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services and was responsible for the management of 1.3 million acres of state forests, running the State Energy Office and taking the state school nutrition programs under FDACS guidance. This resulted in 2 major achievements as Commissioner of Agriculture: directing the use of more Florida-grown fruits and vegetables in public school lunch programs, and overseeing the Fresh from Florida campaign, which promotes the sale of state produce. In 2018, Putnam noted on his Facebook page, "I aimed to introduce Fresh from Florida to more plates around the world, and we did. From the trays in Florida school cafeterias to restaurants in South Korea, The Fresh from Florida brand brings more people to fresh and healthy foods we grow here in the Sunshine State.
I would say that Commissioner Putnam took Fresh from Florida to another level. During his 8 years, it was funded at record levels. And I think part of that was, number one, it was because they trusted him to spend the money in the correct way. And I think the second thing was he could show them how that money was moving the dial.
As Commissioner of Agriculture, Putnam was a strong advocate for Florida's water resources. During his tenure, he expanded Florida's Best Management Water Practices program, through which farmers voluntarily adopt measures to reduce their water use and minimize the use of nutrients that, in high volumes, can negatively impact the environment.
He's one that when you ask him about an issue, he's very clear in explaining both sides. He explains why people are for it. He can talk to you as to why people are against it, and then he's able to tell you why he has the position he has, and that's appreciated.
More than 7 million acres of agricultural lands in Florida are now enrolled in the program. That equates to 53% of all agricultural lands in the state, saving on average 19 million gallons of water daily. As a result of his leadership in water policies, in 2017, Putnam was the first elected official awarded the U.S. Water Prize from the U.S. Water Alliance.
Back when they were putting together what was then P2000, which was all about the conservation lands, which is now known as Florida Forever, Adam was very integral in that. And his colleagues really understood his passion for the landscape of Florida, not just ag lands, but the landscape of Florida. He continuously referenced a land remembered. That was just something in his passion. It was something that he grew up with. It was not just a talking point for him. It was something he truly believed in.
In addition to the Best Management Water Practices program, Putnam also secured more than 40 conservation easements through the Rural and Family Lands Protection Program. These easements preserved more than 50,000 acres in Florida, land that is critical to wildlife habitat and water quality. A fifth-generation Floridian who grew up in the citrus industry with a deep understanding of the devotion and passion citrus growers have to the land and what they produce. Adam notes, "My years as commissioner taught me the value of redefining the farmer and rancher narrative in the non-farm citizen's mind."
One of Adam's greatest strengths is that he is a consensus builder, and this is incredibly important with the influx of people that have come into Florida in recent years.
Currently the CEO of Ducks Unlimited, Putnam is only the 6th executive staff leader in the organization's 82-year history. A lifelong citrus grower and rancher, he is a hunter, angler, conservationist, and third-generation farmer who still finds time to serve on numerous conservation and environmental boards, including the Property and Environment Research Center, PERC, the Fish and Wildlife Foundation of Florida, ALECO, and Ag America, to name a few.
Ducks Unlimited fits in nicely with that, and it creates future duck hunting, bird watching, a lot of things that work very nicely with what Adam does. So I think we're going to be seeing more and more of Adam as those projects become more and more popular. A lot of landowners are realizing it's a great option to hold that land until they find a cure for citrus greening. It might be another 7 or 8 years. So what can I do with my property? Why not rehab the soil, put it under a couple of feet of water, and get paid to carry it forward?
Well known throughout the landscape of agriculture, Putnam's contribution to the Florida citrus industry and the face of agriculture is far-reaching and still reflective in the state's programs today. There has been no other Floridian who has done more on so many levels to assist and protect the Florida citrus industry. And for this, the Florida citrus industry is extremely grateful.
He's professional first and foremost. He was a great public servant, and he knew the value of Florida agriculture with an emphasis on Florida citrus.
I just think Adam's been an absolute champion of our industry, a true friend to all of us, and I'm very proud to call Adam Putnam a close friend and one that I admire and look up to.
Adam's pretty young for a lot of the honors he's had. He has out-hustled his contemporaries to the point where he's worked a life and should be an old man for what he's gotten accomplished so far.
Adam always provided that inspiration, not only through his words, but through his actions, and how he served not only the citrus industry, but how he served the state of Florida.
Therefore, please join us as we welcome Adam H. Putnam as the newest member of the Florida Citrus Hall of Fame.